Well, let me discuss a little knowledge I have about racial profiling. Since they seem to have a project here on it with Reaper racial revenge. Okay, well, let's talk about enslavement. Well, you know, the first, the 6 human being curse fates, you know, because there's an overlapping realm and border deal with A being red, orange, and the Oriental Asians. And then AD put second with the Indian and Southeast Asians on the border notes. Okay, but from AA to AE with the overlapping realm, it's murder, terror, and then torture is the overlapping realm one, and then cannibalism, degradation, and rape. Okay, well, when it comes to the Native Americans across East, the Pacific right, and the fact that AE is, that's the column of red, but that's red-blue, and that's the phoenix, with associates to the word source on a vegetation cloud note on pH, being neon green and white. But anyway, you know, that was actually grabbing you with talons and pecking you to death. That wasn't balls and a dick, okay? But, you know, they have all the knowledge on it. I mean, it's all the hints are in there. With their war bonnet headdresses and bird dances and everything. Okay, but, you know, that is the curse fate of the Native Americans. Okay, but, you know, as the world order is, and the ACs, the Cannibal Con artists, have the Russia, Europe, and Canada notion in the U.S. I mean, that's just the world order, how it was eventually was going to be. As much as the Arabs are the overlapping realm with Oriental Asians. And the AA is Australia, then Africa. You know, as much as India and Southeast Asia explain the cons and pros of their curse fate of AD. Okay, but when it comes to that fact of the Mexicans and that curse fate exploited, you know, with the world order, that's just the notion of it all. Okay, it was always going to be that way. That is the Caucasians' land, Canada. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3 AC. Okay, but, you know, if you want to talk about enslavement too, though, because, you know, a lot of Native Americans were enslaved, along with African Americans in the reverse occupation Brown backronym stuff, and the time percentage stuff. But, you know, why don't, you know, they are Cannibal Con artists, so are you not thinking about the fact they're Cannibal Con artists and the other half of white people, what happened to them? Okay, well, you should maybe look into history about Vikings and thralls. There's a lot of history of white-on-white slavery and a lot of rape stuff going on there. So that would be one thing to look up, is that fact. And also the notion of, you know, maybe you should go watch Braveheart. That's a good explanational story of what was going on, you know, in Europe between the English and Scottish. Okay, where the English were suppressing the Scottish, and they had to revolt against them. Okay, and they're right there, you know, the Scottish are just north, while, you know, Wales is to the west, and Ireland's the island there, and the UK But myself, I'm actually, my dad is Italian, Scottish, while my mother is English and Russian. So, I have a little bit of both in there. But yeah, that might be something to get into, and then you'd be less likely to persecute all white people and racially profile them all as rapists and enslavers. Well.